109 people traveling third class on the Titanic, a mere 24% survived. Now I ask you to compare this with the 319 people traveling first class, 62% of which survived. However, in all, a mere 32% of everybody aboard the Titanic survived. I don't know one person who hasn't given thought to what happened on that fateful night. I want you all to imagine that you're among the crowd of hundreds trying to cram yourself into a mere 20 lifeboats. It's chaos. If you decided to jump into the 28-degree water, as many were forced to do, you would be dead within minutes. In my speech, I'm going to cover the construction of the Titanic, the collision with the iceberg, and the chaos that ensued for the next few hours. So, without further ado, let's delve into what caused the largest seaworthy vessel of its time to sink to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Construction of the Titanic began in 1909 in Belfast, Ireland, by a shipbuilding company by the name of Hartland and Wolff. It took 3 years, 3 million rivets in the hull, and $7.5 million to build. That's over $400 million today. The hull was divided into 16 watertight compartments and was designed to stay afloat if 2 of these compartments were compromised. The finished product was 883 feet long, 92 feet wide, and 104 feet tall. It weighed 52,000 tons, could carry 3,500 passengers and crew, yet, as I stated earlier, only had 20 lifeboats. See, regulations at the time required that the number of lifeboats be based on a vessel's gross tonnage rather than the passengers on board. The Titanic left Queenstown, Ireland at 1:30 p.m. on April 11th. Throughout its voyage, hundreds of reports of ice were reported to the Titanic. However, despite all of these, neither Captain Smith nor any of the other senior officers ever once ordered a reduction in speed. At 11:40 p.m., April 14th, one of the lookouts by the name of Frederick Fleet grabs a telephone and warns James Moody, the helmsman, of ice straight ahead. Moody has the engines turned off, the boat turned left as far as it will go, and he closes some of the watertight compartments. People sometimes wonder, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, does the tree ever fall? Of course it does. The same principle is applied to the Titanic. Just because not many people heard the collision with the ice obviously doesn't mean that it never happened. Unfortunately, seeing as this did happen, we must go on to conclude our story. At this point, the Titanic's fate is sealed. 6 of the bulkheads have been compromised, and it can only stay afloat for a maximum of 2 hours. Some speculate that if the Titanic had collided head-on with the iceberg, that it would have stayed afloat, as it is possible as only one of the bulkheads would have been compromised. 2.5 hours after colliding with the iceberg and breaking in half, the stern goes under, taking an estimated 1,503 lives with it. 4 minutes is not enough time to cover everything that I wish to. I simply wish to give you all a very basic, rudimentary understanding of what happened that night. Well, we covered the construction of the Titanic, and the collision with the iceberg, and the Titanic's final moments. After all of this, I really hope that you have learned something. Now, despite all of this, many good lessons have been learned. However, these are lessons written in blood. The lookouts were never given binoculars that night. I find it curious that one simple variable such as that could cause such a catastrophe on April 14, 1912.